Hi everybody, it's Renee. Welcome to January's page for the National Stamping Month Memories in the Making Cut Above Kit from Close to My Heart. This is available, the kit is available September 1st through 30th while supplies last. So if you really like this and you want one, you might want to pick it up soon so it doesn't sell out. As I promised, this is day 2, so we're working on January's page for my calendar. My husband and I are going to be adding pictures to our calendar as the year goes by, as sort of a memory keeping that I'm going to later transfer into a photo album. So this particular one will not have an actual picture on it, but I will put the placeholders. So let's get started. So this is the one we're going to be working on. This is the January layout called Picture This. So first things first, I'm going to take a look and see, okay, I want to orient it right. So the green diamond goes at the top corner and the dark blue at the bottom corner. So you'll go ahead, get it oriented, and throw a little bit of sticky just to hold it in place. And yes, I just bent my paper, but we will hope that once it gets all used, that it will still look nice. And put this straight helps. If your foundation is not straight, the rest of it's not going to be straight. So, okay, so we're ready to start. So the first thing we want to look at is what's on the bottom. So for this one, we've got some banners across the bottom. I have already taken apart all of my die cuts, cut off all my nubbies. So we are ready to go. Okay, so it looks like we need to adhere this blue piece to this gray piece. I'm going to slide some things out of the way so you can watch me do this over here. As you know, I always like to add my glue to the bottom of what I'm working with. So for this one, this is going to be the very bottom. So we're going to add a strip of glue. Don't squeeze too hard or you're going to have it squishing out everywhere. So add a line of glue where this teal piece is going to be. Grab my reverse tweezers to help me hold this little piece of paper. And if you look at the instructions, it appears that everything on the far right side lines up. So that's what we want to start with. We want to line up our strip with the far edge and then adhere it. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I got a little bit of that glue a little too far because I didn't plan ahead very well. So one of the things that you can try to do is once it is dry, you can try erasing it with an eraser. So hopefully I'll be able to do that so that we don't end up with this tackiness everywhere. So it's one of those learn from my mistake and be careful. So I think in this case, so I can make sure that my glue ends up in the right place, I'm going to put my glue on the smaller piece. So I'm going to go against my normal way of doing things, but I think that might be the best way to make sure that I don't get glue where I don't want it. So we will add some glue. Now I'm using a little bit more glue than I would normally use. Usually I would just do little dots, and you've seen me do that before if you've watched me. But this is going to be hanging in my kitchen for a year, so I want to make sure that all the glue is really good and I'm not going to have issues with stuff falling off as the year goes by. Okay, so we're going to line it up on that far right side again. Release our reverse tweezers and put our strip down. Straight as we can get it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be placing a photo mat over the top of part of this, so we don't have to have it too crazy good. Okay, so the next thing that is on our instructions is we're going to add this green arrow, a star, and the words "Picture This." Now this "Picture This," it is kind of wonky, but it's on the sticker sheet exactly how you need to put it down. So we're going to use my little trick with the ruler, and I'll show you how that works. So first we're going to put down the arrow. So grab your reverse tweezers, and we're going to use some more of this glue. Again, this time I'm going to put it on this smaller piece rather than the piece that it's going on, just so I can make sure that we don't put too much glue or put it in a place where it doesn't belong. And my hands aren't working today, folks. There we go. Okay, so if I look at the picture, it appears that it goes right here with a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the teal showing. Okay, so there's that. Okay. And then we're going to add picture this. So here's what I said about the ruler. You can use any ruler. I like this ruler because it has the grid on it. And what I do is I'm actually going to cut this little tab off so that I don't accidentally bend that. So what I do is I bend the edges of the sticker and get all the edges up so that I can attach them to the ruler in the exact right spot as they are on the paper. Okay, so there we go. So that's kind of what it'll look like after you're done with that. Now, as you can see, I've got some little pieces that I need to get off. So I think what we'll do is we'll stick it on here first, make sure that it's straight, make sure it's pushed down all the way, and then slowly start to remove the sticker from the sticker sheet. Looks like my R is sticking a little, there we go, sticking a little bit. Okay, now you'll see I still have the insides in the P and the R. So that's where I use my little Tim Holtz poker thing, and I poke that out. Now be careful, this little guy is sharp. So get yourself an edge. Oops, be careful because I just pulled that off my ruler. Okay, and wiggle that out. It looks like I'm going to have to pick that up and do it this way. Sometimes you have to be a little creative getting these guys apart. And then we'll just stick that to the edge. Okay, so I want to put this back on my ruler once I get all the little pieces cleaned up. So this is kind of like live television, where you just have to make do with what happens. So hopefully I'm giving you a little bit of hints on how you can clean things up when things don't go exactly the way you planned them. So I'm just scraping off a little bit of paper that was stuck from the sticker. And I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to put this back on the ruler where I think it looks nice. So yeah, I think that looks nice. Okay, so let's see if we can do the R a little bit better, because we've got to pop that piece out of the center there. And it may have been easier if I would have removed these pieces while they were still in the sticker sheet or on the sticker sheet. So maybe, because there's more of these throughout this kit, so maybe on the next one we'll try it that way and see if that works a little bit better. So I will get rid of those little pieces. So here you can see that that's how I get those on so that they look the way that they look on the layout. So for this one, we know that it needs to be as close, just about as close to the top as you can get. So we will lay it down. I'll tell you what, I am going to flip this over to give us a dark color so we can see against. And it is centered over the arrow, as close to the top as you can get without the letters hanging over. Now this is where the grid comes in handy, because you can line up the grid on the ruler and get your pieces, your stickers exactly where you want them. Okay, so I go ahead like I did on the last page, push it down really good, pull my ruler away, and there you go. So all my letters are together. I find that is so much easier than picking up each individual letter off the sticker sheet and then putting them down. So now we'll do it with the next word, this. Now another thing you can do is you can pull off this extra backing, and I'll show you how that works. Go ahead and pull off this extra backing and make sure that everything stays on the sticker sheet. And sometimes that makes it easier on you to actually do the bending to get things to stick to your ruler. So we will pull that up. And so, oops, we took our T with it. So let's pull our T off. And I'm not sure why I am having so many issues today with showing you how to use this. It usually is a very simple process. Okay, so we will bend our paper down, get ourselves an edge for those letters, and then go ahead and place our letters on the edge of our ruler. And then once we've got them on the edge of our ruler, we go ahead and stick them down. And I lost an eye. I lost my eye. My husband just looked over to make sure that my eyes were still stuck in my head. I saw that. Okay. So we've got them on our ruler. Pull our paper back over again. And then this will be centered underneath the word picture. So go ahead and lay it where we think it might look nice, and then we can push it all down. And then slowly pull this guy away. Oh, see, we had a couple of them stick. So what we'll do is we will put this one on by hand. And hopefully the next time I show you this technique, it will go much smoother. But it is what it is. And look at that, it still looks great. So just push it down, make sure it's all down like we want it. And we're done with this piece. Now, something that I do see on our instructions is that one of these little die cut stars is placed right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Put our glue. Again, don't put too much of this glue because it will squish out. We don't want that to happen. So we'll put our little star right there. Make sure it's adhered. Okay. And I think we're done with this piece. So this piece can go ahead and be put on our background paper. So the way we do that is we look again at this, and it says that we are placing the picture this 5 inches from the top corner, and it is flush with the edge of the paper. So the best way to do that is to get our T ruler, and we're going to want to go down 5 inches. So that's going to be 7. Make sure that I'm in the frame here so you can see what I'm doing. Put my T ruler down. I'm going to put glue on here. Again, this is going on my fridge, so I'm going to use more glue than I would normally use if it was just going directly into a photo album. So if you're doing this directly in a photo album, you don't have to use quite so much glue. We've talked about how expensive this ATG tape can be. Okay, so I want to line it up with the edge, and then it should line up with the top of this, which it does. So there you go. There's your strip. And you can kind of see, I don't know if y'all can see right there, you can see a little bit of that glue that I overshot with. So I'll try to get that off later. Probably what I'll do is I will slip like a piece of paper under here and try to make it go that way with an eraser and see if I can get it off. Another option might be to take an X-Acto knife and just very lightly scrape that glue off the paper. Okay? And if all else fails, I'll put another star right there and you'll never see it. So, okay, speaking of stars, we have some stars that are on our sticker sheet, so we can go ahead and place those because they go directly on the background. So we'll place one of those right here where it goes. That's its little home. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to put together our our photo mats. So for this particular layout, we have two 3x4s. They are going to go on this page, on this photo mat, in a landscape format. So what I like to do first is I just kind of like to place them dry so I can kind of see, okay, how much of a border do I want? And it looks like it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch. So I think what I'll do is I'll place the top one and then I'll place the bottom one. Again, these are just placeholders. These aren't the actual pictures. So it really doesn't, it's not a big deal if everything's not straight at this point. However, I'm not sure how far into the month it's going to be before we actually create our pictures. So I don't want to be looking at crooked placeholders for, you know, half or 3/4 of the month of January before I actually get some pictures on here. Okay, so that goes like that. And then we have our sticker that goes, it's going to be tucked underneath. So we will put that on after we place this down. If this would have been a die cut, I would have glued it on here because I like to create all my clusters before I put them down. But because it's a sticker, I'm going to do it a different way. So go ahead, place a good amount of glue on this. And you can also use liquid glue if you prefer how liquid glue works for you, because once you put things down with liquid glue, you usually do have some time to move them around. I happen to really like using my ATG, so I'm just going to stick with that. So use what you like. Okay, so it says on the instructions that we need to place this 2 3/4 inch from the bottom and 2 1/4 from the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my ruler at 2 3/4 so that I have my straight edge. And then I know I want to come in 2 1/4, but I've got a 1/2 inch here, so it needs to be 2 3/4. And so we just go ahead, line it up, make sure we're not covering up our words, and go ahead and place our photo mat down. Now what we can do is we can take this sticker with our reverse tweezers and we can tuck it. And what I like to use when I'm pulling edges of stuff up, this is just an old Cricut spatula. I just like to pull up a little bit of the edge so I can slip underneath. And this is going to be where we can put a little bit of journaling. Now remember, you can always add more journaling later. You can write little stories. Sometimes it's fun to see them written around the outside edges. I could put a little bit of journaling here, or what I could do is I could make one of the pictures a picture and the other picture area the journaling to tell the story. So it's really up to you how you want to use your areas. Another thing you could do is if you have a picture, you have one picture that you really love, you can actually, this is 4x6. So you can just put a 4x6 portrait picture right here. So it's really open to whatever you would like to do. Okay, so we have just a few more pieces to put on. So I will do our little star. We'll put some glue on this guy. And glue him down. And they did this one in what I was talking about before, about 3s and doing them in a triangle. So there's that one. And then we have one more star. And we are done with our layout. Even though I struggled with my letters, I think everything turned out beautiful. So we will go ahead, pop this up, and rub off our glue. And if you have any questions about how to purchase this particular kit, just go ahead and check out the video that I am going to link for you, as well as the coordinating blog post that gives you more information. And if you have any questions about anything that I've showed you today or any other kind of questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I will respond to you. And I hope you enjoyed today. Sorry I was crooked there. And I'll see you tomorrow for the February layout. Bye.